The following program is sponsored by John Chachis Insurance, your local farmers insurance agent located 800 Avenue G in Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Ely TV, Channel 3-2 in Ely, Nevada. Ely City Council meeting, May 23rd, 2013.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Bob Warner,
Father, we come before you right now. I thank you for this city council, for the mayor, Hickman. Father, we thank you for this great country in which we live in and its constitution, and for this great state and this community. Father, I pray for this council meeting now, that the council members would have wisdom beyond their means, and that all the spirit of fairness would be here, and decisions would be made for the best of all the citizens of this community. I pray for this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Roll call. Here.
Councilman Rogers.
Here.
Councilman Durden.
Present.
Councilman Cristiano.
Here.
Councilman Westman is absent. Councilman Biden.
Here.
City Clerk Allworth. City Attorney Briggs.
Here.
City Treasurer Trask. Here. City Fire Chief Rivera.
Here.
City Engineer Albert.
Here.
City Building Inspector Christensen.
Here.
City Water Supervisor Jenkins.
Here.
City Landfill Street Supervisor Short.
Here.
City Parks Animal Control Supervisor Treycraft.
Here.
That's all, Mayor.
Okay. And with that, we'll go on to number 2, public comments. Come out of proceeding agreements with the accepted from the federal public in attendance. If any are made, there may be a discussion upon those comments. A vote, decision, or action may be taken upon matters raised under these items until formally placed on the agenda. Comments during the discussion items will not be accepted from the general public. Section 8.04 of the Nevada Open Meeting Law Manual indicates that the public body may prohibit comment if the content of the comment is a topic that is not relevant or within the authority of the public body, or if the content of the comment is mostly disruptive of the meeting by being irrelevant, repetitious, offensive, inflammatory, irrational, or amounting to a personal attack against the rights of other speakers. With that, we'll open it for public comment.
A couple of issues I want to talk about. Misinformation, number 12 on the agenda, misinformation being put out there. I make a promise to Mr. Bybee that from now on, when I post anything, I'll back it up with documentation so that everybody knows it's true or not true. Number 13 is consideration to hire independent counsel. I got this letter about update on the general fund, and it doesn't look too good. Looks like the city could be heading into trouble. The last part of the letter says, without additional revenues, the general fund in fiscal year 2015-16 could be in trouble without making substantial cuts in operating costs. So that's one reason I wouldn't get independent counsel. I just don't think you can afford it. Third, on the number 13, the ethics violations, we can't comment on them because we don't know what they are. I think that charges should have been printed so that the public know what they are so we can comment on them. Thank you.
Thank you. By public comment.
My name is Jim Northness, and I'm not here to hammer you guys today. The only thing I wanted to state is you have an agenda item for the railroad to get funds from the enterprise fund into the Nevada Northern Historical Railroad. And I don't think that's a bad idea because it's going to go for, the Tiger Grant is going to go for the rehabilitation of the North Line. But there is one concern. The money came into the enterprise fund from Sierra Power, which is now NV Energy, and LS Power, and they were earmarked for attorney fees for the VNS abandonment lawsuit. And I don't have a problem with using the funds the way they are, except I think you should have permission from the two power companies to redirect those funds. Then the other thing too, you have your other enterprise funds are paying wages for the use of city personnel. While the enterprise fund, you got Jennifer Lee and Kevin Briggs who attend the enterprise fund meetings. Why can't you use that money to help pay the wages that they're collecting while they're working there? And that's all I got to say, but I do think you should give permission to the LS Power and the Energy to redirect its funds. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
Hi, I'm Audrey Clark. I'm the fool that started the Facebook group that you guys are on against. And I have wanted you guys to join from the very beginning. I know I personally contacted somebody like Shane and invited you to join. You did join and then promptly left. It just seems like if you guys would join, if there is misinformation, if you were a member, you could post and straighten us all out. It just seems like it would make a lot more sense. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, you live in the city, don't you?
Pardon?
You live in the city, don't you? I was just wondering, where are you living in the county? Anybody else for public comment?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor, I have some concerns in regards to your agenda. One of them being the so-called misinformation that Bruce talked about. I thought that the information had to be on the Mount Wheeler substation or some other items. This is not clear enough to be discussed. The open meeting law says you must be specific, and it's not specific. The other item I'm concerned about is regards to hiring counsel for 3 ethics violations by Councilman Marty Westland. What are they? He's too short? Too tall? Speaks up? We don't know that. Without it being specific, you cannot address that. You have to be specific according to the NRS. Open meeting law in particular. Mr. Mayor, I'm concerned that you are going to, on item number B6 and B7, that you're going to White Pine County Tourism and Recreation Facility, or board, to fund your projects. You're not living within your means, and why should some other entity tax us additionally for the city's projects? That is wrong. Learn to live within your means. Collect the money you're due, and you're not doing that. In the past, I've asked if you had collected money that was on a memo from Jeanette Trask dated April 26, 2012 in regards to the water being used at the golf course. Nothing. At $93,000 a year, that's a big hit. The county hasn't taken out a will serve yet, and at the last meeting that I went to, they said they're going to ask for a freebie. No freebies. You just increased the taxpayers, the ratepayers of this community 30 to 40% on 3 different taxes, and now you're giving it away? No. If you folks can't do the job, you need to go. And you need to go now. Learn to live within your means. Mr. Mayor, when I was at the Planning Commission, meaning the county, I asked them if they'd taken out a special use permit for the swimming pool, which is on school property. They didn't know. I came to your Planning Commission. I got some mixed information. Supposedly the project's taking place within the city limits, and yet the county is going to collect the fee, and the county building inspector does the work. He can do the work as far as inspecting, but you folks had better collect that fee. On one hand, you say you need the money, and then on the other hand, it looks like it's slipping through your fingers. That is wrong. Also, at that meeting, I asked if they were going to get a special use permit for putting that facility on a school district property. I haven't seen it come up on your agenda or their agenda. You need to address that.
I'll look into that for you, Mr. Chach. Anybody else for public comment?
Can I get some answers, Mr. Mayor? I'm carrying a lot of paperwork and I'm not getting
Mr.
any.
Chach, there are other people that want to comment.
Okay, good.
Anybody else? One more? One twice? All right, we'll move on. And with that, we'll go to City Department report. Fire Chief or Ross, do you have anything to add to this?
Yes, I do. A couple items here. Just to keep you guys informed, I was approached about the cancer program that they do annually. They wanted to line off 150 Chinese lanterns. And I originally told them no, but I would look into it a little further. And I checked with our local fire cooperators, the BLM Forest Service. They said they couldn't support this either, and they felt I made a right decision. They would back me in my decision. I also contacted the state fire marshal, and he said they have been opposed on these elsewhere in the state, and to his knowledge, they have not allowed it anywhere in the state of Nevada. So I just want to let you know that I did make that decision.
Camping last year in Death Valley, there were some people shooting. They shoot them off in this it's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
And they're about so big.
Anyways, I just thought I'd inform you that transpired. And I also told them the reasons. And they're under control. 150 of them. We're right. We're 5 potential fire season right now, I believe. So.
Yeah, Death Valley didn't make much difference.
Also, we had been contacted by Mr. McGill on our solar panel, and they plan on coming out here, I believe June 3rd, and start working on the system. They want to tear apart our solar panels and resolder all the joints and re-laminate them. My question on the durability and longevity of the panels after they do that, they never did respond to that. So I just wanted to inform you that that's their plans. At the beginning of all this, well, not the beginning, but not too long ago, they said that they would allow our input on the repairs to be made. And that really never transpired either. So I just want to make sure it's done right, it's properly. So I just want to inform you on that issue also.
One more thing on those lantern things. They could be the fire thing, but I'll tell you, they go so high in the air. The problem is, when they come down, you're not going to track them down a mile away or 2 miles away or something. And you said 150 of them they're talking about?
Yeah.
That's going to be 150 of those things floating around down there.
I'm sure, I don't know if they're going to go sideways or straight up. With the winds around here, I just can't risk the potential liability of all the citizens here.
Kevin, what does our contract say about fixing the solar panels? I mean, do they have to be saying it, or are they going to fix them and then we're going to have to accept the fix? Or have you ever talked to them about it? We talked once about extending the warranty.
I've sent them a couple different letters, and they don't respond to me, but when I send a letter, apparently they respond to Ron. So we are getting some action from the letters that I've sent, but I think that they're just working with Ross to try and come up with a resolution to the issue to get them working the way they were meant to work.
Do we have a choice on how they're fixing, or do you have to accept that they're...
If you have proposals on a better fix than what they're going to come up with, and I'm assuming they're going to come out on June 3rd to make a determination of what they're going to do after they inspect and things. Obviously, provide that to Ross or be there on June 3rd, and you can talk to them. And
the problem is I have no expertise in this field. And we should
nor do I.
contact somebody
the
that
main
does.
thing is the warranty. If the warranty begins when the product is usable, and lasts for as long as they stated when the project was put in place, I don't care how they fix it. As long as They warranted it for the length of time they stated, and that warranty didn't begin when they were bolted up there and didn't work. That warranty begins the day it becomes a usable product. And then lasts for whatever the duration. I'm not out of the top of my head, couldn't tell you what that.
I think it was just a 1-year warranty, wasn't it?
1 year warranty.
If they're fixed, we'll do that, and it will meet. I mean, if it will get it up and running, and they will warrant it for that time frame, I'm comfortable with that. But I think we've got to get it running first.
Yes, State Energy is aware of it too. I sent Kevin Robinson, I think is his name. He's in the office, and he pushed it up to a ladder by a guy named Ward. And I told him it was that ECGB stimulus money. I said, they will get hold of JCI and get the water on it.
One of the contractors that was involved in that declared bankruptcy, didn't they?
One of the manufacturers.
The manufacturer. So that kind of throws a wrinkle in there.
Oh, we have a city engineer. Would you have any expertise in looking at that? Or is that beyond your
No, that'd be more mechanical type.
The third's pretty versed in it. He had knowledge of the one out there at Hidden Canyon Ranch.
Maybe that's John Flair.
John actually got his crew works on it for us. Yeah. He's the one for JCI to go to have him work on it.
Let's talk to John.
I'd be more than willing to go on the third, so that they have some knowledge they could pass on what was transpired, what was said.
Well, they were here a year ago and explained everything on this white keynote.
I think that was a different thing in general.
Something to do with the solar panels out there.
Yeah, that was the company that put them in.
Okay, so
David, Kerr, and then Daniel. And he was with the company too long, and he moved on also.
he was gone also.
Yeah.
So what do we got in writing besides the agreement?
It's not with the city of Ely, it's with the state of Nevada, State Energy. They have the contract. I turned all that over to that ward, whatever his name is, it says, thank you, now it sheds more light on it. The city of Ely has nothing to do with it, other than it's on our building.
Well, okay, that's kind of different too.
Yeah, because when I talked to that ward guy, he says, Harry Reid is the one that started this. We got the stuff for free. I said, we have to write a letter to Harry Reid, we'll write a letter to Harry Reid. Then you'll get stuff to John. And he said, we'll take care of it.
Well, let's go ahead and move on. We all know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Early voting is still going on. Make everybody aware Monday is the holiday, so we will not have early voting on that day, but it's closing next Friday. And actually, we're voting right now. The amount of people who came in right now is low, shorter than what we had in the primary. That doesn't mean that sort of project. Tomorrow, people will be leaving town, and then next Friday, Monday it's closed. Hopefully, they'll pick it up at the polls.
Just one thing. It's my understanding Mr. Chachas keeps talking about the swimming pool being put on school property. It's my understanding that Mike Lemich donated the property that the swimming pool is going to sit on. In fact, I created deeds when I was a county employee many years ago, so it's not school property, to my knowledge, that the pool is going to be sitting on. Yes.
You better look at the map.
Mr. Lemich has donated to the county.
You better look at the map.
That's the only thing that I can
And city engineer?
Yeah, I got a few little minor things. There's work going on down at in the alley between the Postal Palace and the Urban Employment Center. We were requested to kind of come in through there and to check grade, to make sure that that property will drain out properly, don't hold water in that alley. We went down there today. We'll have our crew down there taking a few shots probably tomorrow, and that issue. We were also today was out on at Sage and South First Street. Got some sewer main lateral issues going on right there. We'll probably prepare a report and some possible remedies to that situation for the next utility board meeting. Also, Jeanette had called and requested us to assist. There was some, we got received a letter back from the NDP on some additional information for the landfill. I believe we tracked all that information down, got it together, and stuff for a letter to get it back over to her, but that should satisfy him. He said that should be everything he needed. He'll just put in a letter and get it all over to him. He would be happy with it. We were, Kevin and myself were requested to get with the county, consider this golf course well. We got a meeting set up for tomorrow to go over and kind of discuss a few of those issues on there. And then also, last council meeting, I expressed that Rick would come out and walk. We went out on 8th and 9th Street, looked at some options for that intersection, those future the roadway widths and stuff down in East Ely. We did get a crew on there and shot that, so I'll be able to come prepare an exhibit laid out how I think we should do it down the road in the future, and kind of get a long-term plan together. So, any questions?
On the backflow preventers we talked about last meeting for the fire actors, do you know if they got ordered? I know Ron, somebody.
Yes, they did get ordered.
Sure. They did.
He just was left off the department reports, and so was Rick.
They only do the first of them.
Oh, first of the month?
The report number 4, the mayor will recess for regular city council meeting of the Nevada Northern Railway Board of Trustees.
Call this meeting to order. The Nevada Northern Railway Board of Trustees. Item 1, board members, Executive Director Bassett, discussion for possible action, consideration to provide a letter of support for Executive Director Bassett and the Railroad Enterprise Fund Tiger Grant Committee to be included in the application package for a Tiger Grant to rehabilitate Nevada Northern Railway from Shafter milepost 18.5 to Keystone milepost 146.5 and the McGill branch from McGill Junction milepost 128.5 to McGill Depot milepost 3.9. Mark, how you doing today?
Good, yourself? Good. Great. Basically, we're putting together the Tiger Grant application. The application is due June 3rd. We've received letters of support from White Pine County, Elko County, and Eureka County. We've also received letters from Pico Cachia and Assemblyman Ellison, and so the letters are beginning to come in. So what I'd like to do is include a letter from the city of Ely in support of this project.
I'd like to make a motion we support this Tiger Grant.
Probably a good idea. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
We got a second. Just real quickly before we call for question on it, do you have some things we need to highlight in this letter? Do you have a list of points or
yes,
you can help us with so
absolutely.
we can make sure and do a letter that's more
yes.
effective for you?
Yes, exactly.
Very good.
I can do that.
You can get that through to us. That'd be
okay,
great.
terrific. Who would you like me to give that to?
Jim's the man.
Jim's the man.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll give it to Jim the man.
All right. All right. Any further discussion from the board? Call for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried and so ordered. Number 2, board members, Executive Director Bassett, discussion for possible action, approval to use Railroad Enterprise Fund monies to help pay for the Tiger Grant rider.
Actually, we can withdraw that item. The mine has stepped forward and they have offered to pay for the Tiger Grant rider and the cost benefit analysis. So
we're off the hook.
We're off the hook.
Robinson.
Correct, Robinson.
Awesome.
To do that. And I should mention Robinson also offered $4 million in rock to use as a match on the project too. So, yeah, this is simply rock. We'll have to crush it for ballast and everything, but it makes a real nice match for the project.
Boy, that's fantastic. That is, and I don't mind me asking the grant writer fees and the cost analysis study. What kind of money we're looking at?
We're looking between $8,000 and $10,000 right now.
A nice donation.
Yes. Oh, yes.
A nice
yes.
donation. So
yes.
Maybe we need to agenda for another meeting to a formal thank you to Robinson for their support of this project.
That would be an excellent idea.
Very good. Then we can kill that agenda item. Do we need to quash that or?
Or take no action.
Just take no action? You guys want to take any action?
No.
All right, then we'll take no action. All right, we've concluded the business of the Nevada Northern Railway Board of Trustees, and with that, we're going to...
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
I have a question, Mr. Bybee.
Member City Council meeting back to order. Number 5, item for discussion, possible action of the Ely City Council as recommended by the City Planning Commission. Number 1, commission members for discussion, possible action, approval of a map of revision for property located at section 16C, 15 North R, 63 East, APN 001-182-01, APN 001-182-02 on Lyons Avenue between 6th and 7th Street. The property owned by White Pine Tourism and Recreation.
Basically, what happened at meeting day, this piece of property was subdivided into several smaller lots. They're asking that it revert back to the original acreage map, so it all becomes just one piece of property again, because they're putting in a new heating and cooling system at the convention center that they need to put on one piece of property that's going to handle the building on the next piece of property, but they can't do it as long as there's a boundary line between the lots. So, and the board voted unanimously to approve this request.
Is that the lot right behind the convention center? They got like a little strip mall with some office things or something.
That's included.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
that's part of it.
That's part of it.
Yes.
Any other questions?
I'm going to be approving.
Second.
All in favor, side? Opposed? Okay, number 6, items for discussion, possible action only as the City Ely Council. Consent agenda for the minutes and paying the bills. Discussions on the minutes. Any no changes? Mr. O'Reilly?
No, I wish to approve.
I'll be abstaining as I was absent.
Mr. Miller, you want to move the bill?
And it is.
Okay. You're abstaining.
From the minutes.
Oh, abstain from anything crazy about the fire department, but do anything else. We'll do everything else.
Before the minute, you have to abstain from the
I can vote on everything on, also on the paying of the bill, except for the fire department.
okay, you understand that?
And I'm a partner with Jerry Jones in another business, but not JCR. Hopefully, it's the best for me.
Okay. Well, that's paying the bills, so I think you can go with that.
I can go ahead and just have to disclose that.
Just go with it. Okay. Somebody second? You?
That's it. That's it.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Opposed? All right, well, we got that. B, new business, number 1. Council members, executive director's absence, discussion for possible action, considering to provide a letter of support, the executive director's absence, and the Railroad Enterprise Fund Tiger Grant commitment to be included in the application package for the Tiger Grant to rehabilitate the Nevada Northern Railway from Shafter MP 18.5, Keystone 146.5, and McGill branch from McGill Junction 128.5 to McGill Depot 3.9.
I'll move to get him all work, city clerk, to take care of this letter. I'll second that again.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
We all agree unanimously that Jim should be committed.
Number 2, council members, executive director Bassett, discussion of possible action, approval to use Railroad Enterprise Fund monies to help pay for the Tiger Grant rider. Do we just let this go? Motion?
Yes.
Okay, so we need no action on it. Okay, number 3, council members, city engineer Albert, discussion possible action, consideration to award bid to For the Center Street paving project, White Pine County Regional Transportation Commission.
This was awarded by the RTC this morning in their meeting to Rec Brothers. The award was for the amount of $408,250. This is for the Center Street project. We've come and presented to you guys before. And so, just to add in there and say, we got some monies left over in what the projected budget was. And so, what our anticipation are, we're going to start working with this project. We're going to look, there's some other little additions we'd like to add into that would complete the project, make it a little bit nicer because we got some extra funding to do that. And so we proposed to them that we'll get going with this project. As we going in there, we realize we're in good shape. We have no unexpected contingencies or anything come about, that we would basically proceed and get some change orders from the contractor to add in this additional work that was not included in the base bid because we didn't think we could afford it. And so, Rec Brothers was awarded that contract. I don't know that you guys probably should take action, I guess, just to.
Change orders will come back for the council.
Yes, we'll come back and we'll bring the change orders to the RTC and get them approved back to you. But we should have the funding. I think we had additional funding of approximately $120,000. The additional work that we were looking at accomplishing was somewhere in the neighborhood of $65,000. And so we should be able to complete that work, but I recommended to the RTC, I want to take this safe. I don't want to go out and get a project, get an award, go do this stuff, and then run into any unforeseen circumstances that would cost us additional money where we would take the project in over budget. So we're going to work for a while, make sure everything is good, and once we're comfortable, we would at that point get the contractor to come back in with those change orders for that additional work.
Starting date?
Pardon me?
Starting date?
We left there. We basically went back to the office, sent them a notice of award. That basically starts the clock going. They got 10 days to get their contract signed, all the bonds and stuff in place, and then we'll cut them loose. So I would say very shortly, first week in June, we'll be getting started down there.
I'm going to approve this.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, number 4, council members, City Fire Chief Rivera, discussion possible action, approval of proclamation declaring May 19th, May 25th, 2013, emergency medical services week in the city of Ely. Is there anything you want to tell us about on that?
Well, it's the first time that the volunteers went to schools and talked to, I think, third grade, some basics of EMS, and it's we'll claim this week as EMS week. I said,
Listen, I know a place you get 150 of the all the time and go to.
looks like ambulances.
All right, guys, what do you think? You're not going to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion we approve the proclamation. Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? You got the proclamation.
Okay.
Number 5, Councilman Salagic, Lowell Summer Bowl. Discussion possible action consideration to put a 4-way stop at the intersection of Ogden Avenue and Center Street. 4-way stop.
Yes, there's currently a 2-way stop on Center Street. I'd like to get one put on Ogden Street on the cross section because there seems to be an excessive amount of speeding coming down Ogden Street. I live right on the corner of Ogden and Center, and I feel that if we put in a 4-way stop, it would help break up the amount of speeding that we have coming down that street. I've lived there for approximately 4 years now, and in that time, I've seen 2 accidents. I've been a victim of an accident and seen an accident of people speeding down that road. One of them, a guy was speeding down the road with the trailer on his truck. It jumped the trailer jumped off the hitch and ran into a car across the street from me. Another one, a kid come flying down the road, lost control of his car, and slammed into my truck parked on Ogden. So I'm suggesting a four-way stop be put in to help break up the speeding on Ogden Avenue.
Trying to think, over Ogden comes and then you have to go around like
No, it's right before that. Center Street's the one that you guys are getting ready to redo.
Yeah.
And you come down off Altman, and it's the very first intersection you come to. And like I said, people come down off Altman, and they fly down Ogden down to the next street where the dog leg is. So right before that one, the intersection before that one, we'll have to get a four-way stop put in to help break up the speeding so that people aren't going 40 to 60 miles an hour down that road.
I'd like to request that we have the fair talk study this like we did on North Street. Put out the thing for a couple of days, just check what the speeds are and what's going on with it.
Excuse me, the person here, I have the sheriff take a look at that.
That's a procedure we've done in the past. Just having the police look at the stop sign and traffic.
Yeah, and then they make the sheriff will make a recommendation to us. So.
Get started for you.
I think it's a good place for one. It'll slow them down by the time they get to North Street.
I hope so. Like I said, I'm hoping. I talked about a speed bump, but I was told those are too much liability. So I'm hoping that a four-way stop there will slow down the speeding.
Okay, so you make a motion to table.
I make a motion that we
If you don't want to table it, you want to direct that it be turned over to the sheriff's department for their traffic study.
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye.
As long as that's your motion.
Thank you.
Don't want to put words in your mouth.
And anybody against that? No. And Jim, you'll just contact me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right, Mr. Secretary, possible act consideration of possible projects to submit for the 2013 Lifetime Tourism Recreation Facilities aid grant.
What's the difference between 6 and 7 to 8 and an improvement? What do you consider in a facility aid grant and a capital improvement project?
I think in the application they spell it out. I don't have my packet with me. I think the two applications. One is tourism to enhance and promote tourism. Capital is you got a building or something you want to have something tourism for.
So what are the backstops? Which one do they take?
They'd come in the recreation facilities group, wouldn't they? Yeah.
I'd like to see put in for 5 backstops and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been over there since then, since
You could go with 5, hope to get 4.
well, there's that many teams out there practicing. People out there when 2 months.
Absolutely, I know we talked.
And with different sizes would be cost different. Sure, have somebody capable sitting behind me.
Well, and we may be able to use, if we did happen to get 5, we may be able to use them in other parks. The AD, the Terrace Park, we're going to have a new park down by the railroad, and we may have some other places we could do them to split them up and put them to good use. So I'll second that motion.
Is Mike approached the board down there yet? Not yet. We're going to do that, sir?
Yes.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The next one is number 7. There has been discussion of possible action, consideration of possible projects to submit for the 2013 Lifetime County Tourism Recreation Capital Improvement Project. Okay, well, what is the capital improvement part? What would that take?
I think we looked at the application as spelled out. I think it's more for buildings and such.